All right, Cat Shades, the heavy metal picker, back again. Story time again. All right, in this story, it's August 16th, 1997, Piqua, Ohio, where I was born. Great metal scene in between 1994 and 1998, and it's one of the best spots that I could imagine being a death metal fan in his later teenage years, early 20s perhaps. And despite it being a small town and surrounded by cornfields and cows, 20,000 people, and the only big city anywhere around it was Dayton, which is a city of probably 100,000 people at the time, which was a 45-minute drive to the south. It had numerous underground death metal bands come, and even a few bigger name bands. Now I'm going to post some old flyers for you here, but I'm going to start talking about the show that I'm referring to. So Internal Bleeding, Lividity, Regurgitation, and the Refrut. Dead also played that day. They are not listed on the flyer. I'm guessing 200 people attended the show. 300 would probably be the upper limit. I asked Chris Pervelis of Internal Bleeding what he thought about that day, and he said it was pretty hot because, yeah, it was packed that day. Other bands that have played this small town include 6 Feet Under, Isis, Napalm Death, Clean Flesh, Regurgitation, Repudiation, Mortal Decay, Judecca, Dying Fetus multiple times, Doom Formation, Deeds of Flesh, Erotic Incisions, and a few others that I'm forgetting. The only places I can imagine in America would have a better scene at the time in the 90s would have been Cleveland, Chicago, the East Coast between like New York and New Jersey, and possibly Tampa, Florida, stuff like that. So the first time a death metal band played this venue in this small town, a bunch of people were moshing, and the cops came, and there were a bunch of country boys who had never seen anything like this, and they thought a massive 20 to 30 person fight was happening. And I tried to find the old newspaper article about this, in which the city council tried to do a no moshing ordinance. I don't think it went through. But yeah, I'd heard about that proposal. So let's get to the show. And in the later part of the set, a very attractive woman got on stage and showed the audience her boobs. I remember the boobs clear as day. They were medium-sized, proportionate to her body. They were white. They were good boobs. And I was there. I saw it happen. And I don't know if this woman was some local woman or Matt's girlfriend posing as a random fan who was overwhelmed with lust by listening to Lividity and their live performance. There are no pictures of her in the CD booklet. I am very disappointed about this. Where am I here? Yeah. So everybody on the internet's got to be a critic. So even if there were pictures of her, I bet you guys would say, oh, she's nothing special. 2 out of 10. Would not bang. You know, as if you have that kind of options. I can assure you, I was there. She was hot. And so hot that I'd pay as much as $40, maybe even $50 to cream pie her. She was that good looking, seriously. So if any of you can tell me who this lady was, or perhaps this lady is watching, which I kind of doubt, I'd like for her to get in touch with me for an interview. So I saw the show, but this is the first time I listened to the CD. Oh God, let me do the math in my head. Yeah. 27, 28 years later. So yeah, this is my first time hearing it, and Matt Bishop's between stage banter talking about sex stuff. I think he goes on a little bit too long. At the time it didn't seem like that big a deal, but if you're listening to it, it's just like, all right, just play the songs. I think he should have gone for quality over quantity. Next, you know who else was obnoxious at the show? That's right, it was me. You can hear me in between several of the songs hollering for the song Fetal Scabs, which of course they played at the very end.
But
at the time, Fetish for the Sick had just come out. I got my Fetish for the Sick CD that day, Lividity's debut album. So at the time, the only thing that was out widely to the public was the Rejoice and Morbidity demos. That was the only thing that Lividity fans were familiar with at the time at that show. And I'm guessing maybe 10 out of the 200 people there were actually familiar with Lividity. So here's another funny part. Check this out.
Hey, where you going, ladies? Is our cocks too big for you?
All right, let me
See,
explain
them dudes
this.
are taking off right there. Obviously,
This
getting
part,
no pussy.
I saw 3 attractive women leaving the area where the band was playing toward an open door, which would have led to the restroom, or perhaps, I don't remember if there was a bar downstairs or not. I would have been too young to drink. Maybe to go outside to smoke. Well, there was no smoking ban back then. You could have smoked inside, I guess. Maybe they wanted to leave the show entirely. But anyhow, right behind them, probably like a dozen or so paces behind them, their boyfriends were following them. So that's what's going on when Matt's calling them out during that part of the recording. So not only does a recording of Lividity's performance that day exist, but there's also a recording of Internal Bleeding's performance that day, and that is on Jimmy from the Block's channel, so check that out as well. I would be very interested in getting recordings of Leveled's performance and also Regurgitation's performance. Now, during Regurgitation's set, Joe Wolf of Clean Flesh did the song Rotting on the Bowels of the Dead with Regurgitation. And this is a full 2 years before Tales of Necrophilia came out. So Brian Baxter had very recently joined the band, I think, and at this time he's just playing bass. He's not doing vocals. And they did every song from Conceived Through Vomit, but these songs were played with more blasting rather than like double bass and thrashy beats. And other songs that they may have played that day, I don't know for sure what was played and what wasn't, but Out of the Womb Into the Cauldron was probably played. Menstrual Cycle was probably played. The Necro Butcher was probably played. And they did play a song called Fetish for the Deteriorated, which I think was an early version of Acid Enema. Now, the sound man at the show who made these live recordings, captured these live recordings, was Paul McDermott. Paul McDermott ran Thunder Sound as a sound man. And Paul was also the singer of a thrash band called Kill Lust from Dayton, Ohio. And that band was active, I think, between 89 and maybe 91, 92 at the very latest. And I guess he fired all the members from that band, and then the fired members went on to record several demos, several CDs as Foul Stench. And I've got quite a few stories and even a few incriminating pics of Foul Stench. So that'll be as part of another video. So you're gonna want to subscribe.